One of my most favorite meals at the Outback is the coconut shrimp appetizer. I just as soon have that and a bowl of salad there, and we have tried to make it at home and it does turn out pretty good. So what I'm using tonight is cup for cup flour, just to reduce the gluten a little bit, some baking powder, a Hefeweizen. I have flour in 2 different bowls and shredded coconut, and my shrimp that I have, it's peeled and deveined, and I have patted it dry so it's a little dry so it will stick in the first flour a little bit better, and orange marmalade. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to mix up my egg and my flour, and 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. Okay, shorter that one just a little bit. Okay. And 2/3 cup beer. And if you don't want to use beer, you can certainly use water. Okay. So we've got 2/3 cup. Whoa, we're going to have a little froth there. Okay, just stir that up, mix it up good. To get rid of that foam. What's your favorite meal when you go to the Outback? I like their steak too, but coconut shrimp is something that we don't normally have at home, so I do like to have that when I go there. And the marmalade dipping sauce. So we do have a little foam on here, but I think that's going to be okay. We're just going to use this as to coat it. Almost. We're going to be serving this with a wild rice mix tonight and some green beans. So it'll be a complete meal. Not an appetizer, really. Okay, that's mixed together. So what we're going to do is going to hold the shrimp by the tail, which I've already taken up, but by the end, I'm going to dredge it in flour. So we're going to get it in here and dredge it in flour. And then I'm going to dip it in that batter. And then I'm just going to roll it in the coconut. So, and I'm going to go through that process with all of my shrimp. And it's going to go in the refrigerator for 30 minutes so it gets cold. So when I cook it, I'll do one more flour here. And then in the batter. And then the coconut. So it's looking good. Here we go. And I'm going to go through and do that. And I will be back with you in 30 minutes and we'll fry some up. All right, our shrimp has been in the refrigerator resting while our oil has been heating up. So we're going to go ahead and we have our oil on 350. I'm going to go ahead and drop a shrimp in. These shrimp are really big, so I'm going to keep my oil down a little bit to make sure that I don't have the coconut burning. Now if you can see that, I'm going to turn my camera just a little bit in the front. So it's cooking in that oil. I'm just using vegetable oil. And while we're waiting for that to cook on that one side, I'm going to mix the marinade, which is just the orange marmalade that we had open earlier. And a tad of Dijon mustard. You can use as much as you want or as little as you want. It's totally up to you for taste. So start with a little and then you can add more if you like it. It just looks like that. I'm going to put a little in this dish to show you the shrimp. Shrimp is cooking good. This little skillet is kind of handy. If you don't want to use a whole lot of oil, I'm not making that much shrimp. Only 3 of us will be eating shrimp. So, depends on what size of shrimp you have. These shrimp are jumbo shrimp, so they're quite large. So I'm going to look and see how they're doing on that one side. They're not quite ready to flip yet. And because they're so jumbo, we want to leave them in there to make sure they get cooked on both sides. So we haven't been to Outback, gosh, for a long, long time. So I do miss that coconut shrimp. Maybe it'll taste really good when we finally get back there. So now I'm flipping them over and they're kind of brown on that side. Might be a little bit browner, but we'll see how that one goes. And once those are done, I will drain them in just on a paper towel. And put probably can add one more in here so that gets going while we're waiting for the other ones to cook. Again, you could probably do these all at once, but you want to have at least enough oil in your pan to cover halfway up, and the little pan works pretty good. I don't have to use a whole lot of oil. We don't do a lot of frying with oil. Maybe a little olive oil, but not much deep frying with oil. They're looking pretty good. About a minute more, I think. Turn it on its side because they're pretty thick. Put a little bit there on the ones that are too tall for that pan. Okay, I think we're about ready to take those out. I'm going to drain it just a second on the paper towel. Those look pretty good. I'm going to throw another set in there, and then I'm going to cut one open for you. So we'll move that over a little bit. Move this over. Bring this little dish in here. I'm going to put this here, and here's my shrimp. So if you have several, I think probably if you had 3 as an appetizer for your guests when they came, I'll be glad to have you come, and I'll be glad to make shrimp for you. But until then, we will just have these for our meal. So I've cut it open. Looks done in the middle. So you can see that, it's a little pink. And let that cool off for 1 second before I try to put that in my mouth. We're gonna dip in the orange marmalade and mustard mixture. It's still a little hot, but I had to have a bite. So that's our coconut shrimp. I hope you make some of this and enjoy with your family, or make them on your own and then you can eat them all yourself. All right. Have a good evening. Good night.